Good morning, SOD babes. Oh my goodness, there is so many birthdays. It's wild. All of the Virgos are in here. The Virgos, the Virgos are in SOD. Also, I am loving your expansion days. I'm loving the shares about how the riffs are really resonating with you. You're having aha moments, you're having downloads, and I'm so glad yesterday's riff really hit for so many of you. And I feel like yesterday's riff and today's riff are gonna go really well together and be ones that you listen to again and again and again. Because what I want to talk to you about today is the unknown, specifically around transformation when you are growing and moving into a new season of your life, and how uncomfortable it can feel when who you used to be and what you used to do and maybe what you used to love no longer resonates with you, no longer feels inspiring, feels activating. So it kind of just feels like you're a little lost. You're in the unknown. But the scary part about this type of unknown, the transformation unknown, is that the next side of where you're going and what you are transforming into and who you are becoming and the next level of life you are creating may not be revealed yet. So you're just kind of like not feeling resonant with where you're at, but you don't really know where you're going, and you're in this unknown, and it can get very loud when you are in your mind like this. So I want to talk to you about this because there may be a few of you who are navigating that season right now. And even if you do have a pretty solid understanding of like, yeah, I know where I kind of want to be. I know I want to be making more money. I know I want a bigger business. I know I want to do X, Y, Z. Like you may have like a good understanding of like where you're going, but what that really looks like and the pathway to get there and what you want to do and being activated by it and inspired by it and feeling like you have the solid game plan of like, this is what I'm doing, may not be locked in yet. So you're just kind of like floating in the middle. And what I want to call this is the quote unquote, just for this riff, the messy middle. Now, the reason why I wanted to have this conversation is because I am currently, AJ and I currently like upgrading a bunch of things in our house, and we upgraded like all this stuff in our kitchen. We're upgrading like our living room. We've got a new TV stand. We're like redoing a bunch of different things and just upgrading our guest bedroom, just a bunch of shit, right? And just a bunch of good shit, just upgrading over here, which is so exciting and so fun. And what I realized is this is technically, if we're looking at what I'm doing, let's say we're looking at my living room, I'm giving my living room a transformation. What it is was no longer inspiring. It was no longer activating. It was no longer lighting me up. And I desired something more. And then I put in my request for that. I decided to act on that. I decided to move in that direction. Now, what happens next isn't I blink and now I have a brand new living room. What happens next is a messy middle. I have to unpack or take away all the decor off my current living room. I have to like clean it all out. And we just got the delivery yesterday of the brand new TV stand, but the guy who's coming to put together the TV stand isn't coming until tomorrow. So for today, I'm living in the messy middle. We've got boxes in the living room because the big new TV stand is in our living room in boxes. We've got my current TV stand with all of the decor come off and just kind of like resting on the side. And today, my living room looks like a fucking mess. It looks like a mess. Nothing makes sense. It's not what I want. It's not where it was. It's not clean. It's not perfect. It's not done. But I am quote unquote in the messy middle because I am in transformation of getting to where I want to be. Am I off track? No, I'm right on track. Is there a problem? No, there is no problem. I am literally, yeah, sure, it may be the messy middle, but everything's in place. I know where I'm going. I've got the pieces to the puzzle. Tomorrow, the man's coming to put it together. But then I'm still going to kind of be in the messy middle because our old TV stand won't be able to get picked up until probably Friday. So for 3 days, we're going to have my old TV stand sitting in my living room as well, and some old furniture from our guest bedroom in the living room as well. So we're still going to be in the messy middle, even once I land in the transformation of like, oh, the new TV stand is up, it's set up, the new living room is done, but we still have all the old hanging out in the living room as well until Friday. We're in this messy middle. This is a transition. This is a transition. And the reason why this was so profound for me is because I was like, this is the exact same concept of what happens when you're leveling up in your life, of what happens when you are moving into a new season of life, when you're transforming and upgrading areas of your life, when you're transforming as a woman, when you're transforming in your business, when you're transforming areas of your life. There is this messy middle where you're not where you were, but you're not where you want to be yet, but things are rearranging. Things are falling away. Then all of a sudden it's messy as fuck. It doesn't look clean. And you're like, what the fuck is this? I just put in my order to the universe that I'm ready to 10x my business. And now all of a sudden clients are falling away. All of a sudden things don't feel good anymore. All of a sudden my business model kind of feels off. All of a sudden my pricing doesn't feel good anymore. And instead of looking at this as the messy middle of a rearrangement, meaning not a messy middle in regards to energetically messy, physically messy, of like, there's a lot of stuff here. There's a lot of stuff here. When I walk out into my living room, there's a lot of stuff. It's a messy living room, but it's right on track. It's perfect. It's the process. It's the path to getting what I want. There is no other option. Like, I could put my shit on the street. I could put the boxes in the backyard, but then I'd ruin the boxes. So I don't want to do that. So the answer is a messy middle, and I get to be okay with that, and I get to be perfectly fine with that. But the only reason why, the only difference between this concept and the concept of our dreams is that in this concept with the TV stand and the living room, I know with 100% certainty that what's happening. I have the timeline. But here's the interesting thing. Like, when I say I have the timeline, I know the guy's coming tomorrow. I know that we're going to have to keep everything in there until probably Friday, until we call like the service to come get the TV stand picked up or whatever it is. But that's also not, even though I know that is also still unknown. What if the guy cancels tomorrow? Let's not put that out there. But what if the guy cancels tomorrow? What if the bin guy doesn't come on Friday and we be in the messy middle for another week? Am I going to freak out? Am I going to get mad at myself? Am I going to start going into a spiral of how much I've fucked up, how much I've made this decision to upgrade my life and it's not working and now I just have this chaos? Or am I still going to be like, oh, that's annoying. Reschedule the man. Oh, that's annoying. Let me call the thing, reschedule that. Done, locked in. Let me move on with my day. Everything's still in process. I'm still right on track. I'm still perfect on my path. Everything's still working out for me. There isn't any problem. There isn't a fucking problem. I don't need to walk into my living room and be like staring at the old TV stand and be like, this is a problem and it needs all of my attention to fix it because I've fucked up somewhere. So if this is in here for one more day, it's because I'm fucking up and there's a big problem. And this is what we do, which slows it down. Instead of just being like, yeah, it's gonna go out and it's gonna happen, and I'm focusing on what I do want, which is the new TV stand, and I'm focusing on where I am going, which is clearing this out, and I understand the concept of what's happening right now, which is I'm in the messy middle. There isn't a problem. There isn't something that needs all of my attention. I just am rearranging. I am in a rearrangement of my life. And this happens a lot. I have seen it so many times, even with some of you guys in here in different containers of mine, where you make this big decision that you are ready to pop the fuck off, that you're ready to go all in on a new season of your life, and then all of a sudden your job this happened to one of my clients inside the Extraordinary Mastermind. She was like a private client of mine last year, and we were diving deep into getting her to 5-figure months. She sold out her mastermind. It was like happening, and then all of a sudden she got laid off her job. They laid her off. Like she lost her job, and we like couldn't even do anything but like giggle. We're like, of course you did. Like, of course you lost your job. Like, the universe is clearing that shit out for you. But it could have been so easy for her to go into this spiral of like, oh my God, what am I going to do now? What's happening now? Blah, 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 blah. But she was like, I know what's going on. She had that comprehension. But I have led many clients through this moment where they've made this declaration, they're making moves, they're elevating, they're raising the bar, they're raising the standard, they're showing up differently, they're putting themselves out there, they're raising their prices, they're doing things differently to align to a new level of life, they're being future self, and then all of a sudden something in their old reality slips away. That job cancels, that relationship falls apart, those old and unaligned clients fall away. And when I say old and unaligned clients, that doesn't mean there's something wrong with that. It means the paths are no longer the same. It's like, you guys maybe had a soul contract for a period of time and you guys served its purpose, and now we're moving on, right? There's nothing wrong with that. It's just you're moving to a new season and they're moving into a new season, and what your work was with those people at that time, it's complete, and that's beautiful and it's amazing, right? But we can get in our head of like, what am I doing wrong? Why are people falling away? But at the same time, you're calling in a whole new level of a client at a whole new price point in a whole new lane. And that's what's happening. There is a messy middle taking place. Now, the next portion that I want to talk about in regards to this topic is 2 things on how to handle this time when we are in the unknown, and obviously we don't have a time frame of when the messy middle is going to be complete. 2 things that I want you to keep in mind in this moment. This concept, I remember hearing before I even understood self-development, and I was listening to these like tapes. They were tapes, but they were on like audio. But he was calling them tapes, so they're in my mind as tapes. But it was all around, it was very similar now that I think about it to like Abraham Hicks vibes, but it was all around manifestation, and it was about the process of like identity and upgrading your thoughts and your beliefs and blah, blah, blah. But at that time, I didn't understand that concept, and I didn't understand how to apply what he was saying into my own reality. So I was just listening to it and changing nothing. But something he said to me really stuck with me. And you get, it's this, you get what you think about most of the time. You get what you think about most of the time. So when we're in this messy middle, and when you're having a human experience, and when you feel fear, and when you feel doubt, and when you're feeling thoughts, or you're in a bad mood, or you're having a bad day, or you're having a bad week, what I want you to understand is that this process of transforming your life isn't dependent on you being a perfect human. It is dependent on your dominant thought, what you think about most of the time. What I think about most of the time, sorry, my mailman's here. Bentley is going bananas. What I think about most of the time is my foundational beliefs, which gets me to my next point. These are my dominant thoughts. I have dominant thoughts that override, not override, that's the wrong word. I have dominant thoughts that are the undercurrent energy of my life most of the time. Most of the time, which means the foundational beliefs. And if you don't know what this is, I teach you how to create foundational beliefs inside the School of Dreams program, inside the Vault. I would have to check what module it is. I'm pretty sure it's in semester 1, but if someone who's listened to the SAD program remembers this, let me know. But I'm pretty sure it's in semester 1 when we are talking about beliefs. But in the unknown is only scary, and there's only fear inside the unknown when you haven't decided where you're going, and you haven't decided who you're going to be, and you haven't decided your foundational beliefs of how life and success works for you. Because life and success and money is responding to you based off your dominant thoughts. And when we don't link our life success and money to our mood, then we can always be receiving money, opportunities, clients, whatever it may be, independent of our mood. And that's based off our foundational belief, right? So some of my foundational beliefs, and some of this may sound familiar because I've shared them here and there with you guys, is money and opportunity always show up for me. I will always be okay. I will always be okay. That is a foundational belief, and it's a foundational truth of mine, because when I look at my track record in life, I've always been okay. I have been in very, very scary positions with finances, with jobs, with life, all these things. And I'm here in a beautiful office in a 3-bedroom house in LA, driving a Mercedes, like about to go potentially adopt a second dog. Like, I will always be okay. I've made it through challenging seasons, and I've always been okay. Sure, it's not comfortable, but I am okay. So my foundational belief, when I am in the unknown, when I am in the quote unquote messy middle, I lean on, let me reframe. When I am in the messy middle, I lean on my foundational beliefs, which are my dominant thoughts, which is what I think about most of the time, which is why I get what I think about most of the time, even though I'm human, and have these moments of ups and downs and emotions and things and navigating life be lifing sometimes. But at the core of who I am, I operate and believe and move and think and feel and see life through my foundational beliefs. Now, my foundational beliefs are just things I've decided. That's it. Like, they're just things I've decided to be true. Money can show up for me whether I'm selling or not. Clients sign up with me whether I'm selling or not. This is another foundational belief of mine. So if I'm in a slow season, or if I'm in a transformation season of myself where maybe I'm not doing as much, money and clients always show up for me. I expect that. And whether they do in that day or not, it doesn't change my foundational belief. This is my foundational belief. I believe it. It's my dominant thought. So then I have this frequency. I feel in that energy most of the time. And I get what I think about most of the time. You get what you think about most of the time. So in this messy middle, when you are in this transformation season, when you're not who you were, but you're not where you want to be yet, and life is rearranging for you, we get to remember that this is a normal part of the process. The messy middle is a normal part of the process. You can even look at this when you've moved apartments or moved houses. You're upgrading into a brand new space, and there is a portion of weeks where you are in a very messy middle. Boxes fucking everywhere. Boxes everywhere. And when you're moving, it's like so much coordinating. When are you giving back the keys? When do you get the keys? What's the time frame between how long you have the old place and how quickly you need to get into the new place? Like, what's going on? There is so much going on. But are you questioning or second guessing your upgrade? Are you questioning or second guessing where you're going? You're going from good to great. You're in the messy middle, but you're getting what you're thinking about most of the time based off your dominant thought, which is, I know exactly where I'm going. I know exactly what I'm doing. I know exactly what's happening here. So I'm not letting the messy middle upset me. I'm not letting all of these boxes and an empty house upset me. I know what's going on here. So you have certainty. You've decided where you're going, even though you're in the unknown. And like I said in this voice note, fear is only loud in the unknown when you haven't decided where you're going. When you haven't decided where you're going, you don't need other people to tell you where you're going. You get to say, this is who I'm becoming. This is what I'm doing. This is where I'm going. This because I've decided so. I've decided so. And I don't need evidence today, right this fucking second, to back me up in that. This is my new foundational belief, or this is my foundational belief, period, the end. I get into that frequency, I lock it in, and now I live my life like that. I'm in the messy middle. I understand what's happening here. So, with all this being said, this is my riff today. I felt like this was a really important conversation for all of us to have while we are all up leveling at a rapid rate, because transformation is growth on a rapid rate. And you guys are all growing at a rapid rate, which means you potentially may be experiencing or already are experiencing growing pains. And I want you to understand that in the process of transformation isn't always just a clean one to another blink of an eye with a perfect transition. Sometimes, and we're down for that. But if you are in the messy middle where you're moving and stacking boxes and rearranging things and clearing shit out and cleaning out your closet and stacking boxes and donating things, like waiting for the trash man to come. Like, if that's the phase that you're in, you're right on track. It's perfect. It's part of the process. So there's nothing to be upset about. So if this resonated with you, if you needed to hear this, let me know. I always love hearing your feedback from the riffs. I am so excited to talk to you guys tomorrow. We have our call tomorrow and I can't fucking wait. So have a beautiful day. Happy birthday to all my baddies, and I will talk to you on our call tomorrow.